There are moments in life when everything pauses, when you look around and realize you've never truly belonged. Not to the crowd, not to the norm, not even to the world that surrounds you. You've always walked a different road, sensing something deeper calling you forward, something more profound than just existing day to day. And maybe you've never been able to explain it to anyone else, but deep down, you know, you're here for a reason, a greater one. If you've always felt like an outsider, like someone watching the world through a different lens, you're not alone. You may be one of the rare souls often referred to as a chosen one, someone sent here with a divine mission, a deeper awareness, and a light that can't be dimmed, even when the world tries to snuff it out. Being chosen sounds noble, even magical. But what most don't understand is that it's not all light and glory. It's also shadows and weight. The calling is real, but so is the cost. There's a loneliness that comes with carrying a sacred purpose, a knowing that sets you apart. You might be surrounded by people, laughing, talking, living, but feel like you're from a different world entirely. It's not the kind of loneliness that comes from being alone, but the kind that creeps in even in a crowded room. Because what you crave isn't just company, it's connection. Real, soul-deep connection. Conversations that touch the stars. Eyes that see into you. Silence that feels like home. But that kind of connection is rare. And so, you learn to live in the in-between. Between light and shadow. Between human and divine. Between belonging and exile. You smile, you blend in, you nod along with the rhythm of society, but inside, you're always listening to a different song. And maybe you've never said this out loud, but there are parts of you you've kept hidden. Parts too powerful, too strange, too sacred. You've learned that not everyone can handle the truth of who you are and what you carry. So you lock it away. You wear the mask. You play the role. But behind your eyes, entire galaxies spin. You feel things differently. When others hurt, you don't just notice, you absorb. You don't need words or explanations. You just know. You can look at someone smiling and feel the sorrow behind their teeth. You can sit next to a stranger and sense their grief like smoke in the air. It's not imagination. It's not dramatics. It's energy. You read it. You carry it. And sometimes it crushes you. The pain of the world, it doesn't pass over you like it does with others. It sinks in, lives in your chest. Crowded places, breaking news, even the tears of someone you don't know, they hit you like waves, pulling you under. You give, and you give, and you give, because your soul is wired to heal. But you're not invincible. And when you retreat, it's not to hide, it's to survive. But you never complain, do you? Because deep down, you know most people wouldn't understand. They'd call you too sensitive, tell you to toughen up. But this isn't weakness. This is your gift, your curse, your calling. And then there's the war. Not the one people see on the outside, but the one raging silently within. Chosen ones live through spiritual battles others can't imagine. Nights filled with strange dreams and restless energy. Days when everything feels heavier than it should. Moments when it feels like something unseen is trying to pull you off course, whispering lies, feeding doubts, draining your light. You fight temptations that look like opportunities. You walk through fires no one knows you're in. And sometimes you wonder if you're imagining it all until something deep inside reminds you, no, this is real. And you were made for it. You've probably had your purpose tested in the harshest ways, losses that broke you, betrayals that changed you, storms that nearly ended you. But you're still here, still rising, still answering the call. And in that journey, you've seen things. Not just visions or dreams, but the truth behind the illusion of this world. You've seen what lies beneath polished smiles and pretty words. You've seen how dark people can be, how easily they wear masks, how often they choose comfort over truth, ego over love, control over connection. You see manipulation before others do. You feel the lies before they're spoken. It's like your soul has radar tuned into every frequency others ignore. And it hurts sometimes to see so much, to feel so much. Because once you've seen the shadows, you can't go back to pretending the light is everywhere. But even with all you've seen, you still choose to love. You still choose to believe. Not because you're naive, but because you know the truth. Light is strongest in the darkest places. And you were sent here to be that light. Still, being a chosen one means living a life that few can truly understand. You've probably felt like you were too much for some, too deep for others. Your thoughts don't orbit the same concerns. While others worry about trends and likes and status, you're wondering about faith, energy, timelines, the divine. You crave purpose like oxygen, and when life feels empty of meaning, it drains you like nothing else. You might have gone through phases of questioning everything, your sanity, your value, your role in this world. You might have asked, why me? Why do I see things no one else does? Why do I feel this way? Why can't I just be normal? But normal was never meant for you. You were designed to awaken, to disrupt, to shift energies, to heal, to carry light into forgotten places. And while that may sound grand and poetic, the truth is, it's hard, it's exhausting, and it can be lonely. And yet, here you are, still reading, still resonating, still knowing, because something inside you recognizes this truth. It doesn't need convincing. It doesn't need proof. Your soul has always known. And now, perhaps more than ever, it's time to remember who you are. This message found you for a reason. Maybe it's because you've been second-guessing yourself. Maybe you've been shrinking your life to make others comfortable. Maybe you've been drowning in doubt, wondering if you imagined your purpose altogether. But you didn't. This is your reminder, your wake-up call, your sign from the universe, the divine, the very essence of your being. You are not here by accident. You are not imagining things. You were chosen because you are capable. And though the path is not easy, you are never walking it alone. If this touched something deep within you, don't keep it buried. Share your thoughts. Say what you've always been afraid to say. Let yourself be seen. And if you've made it this far and feel that unmistakable pull of alignment, type 1111 in the comments below as your soul's way of saying, I remember who I am. You are powerful. You are sacred. You are here on purpose. And the world needs what only you can bring. There are those among us who seem to carry something ancient in their eyes, a depth that doesn't come from experience alone, but from a soul that has seen and known far more than one lifetime could explain. These individuals, often referred to as chosen ones, are not chosen in the sense of superiority or privilege. Rather, they carry a burden that is invisible to most, a sacred weight that asks for deeper perception, compassion without recognition, and the strength to walk paths few can understand. While others may move through life on autopilot, these souls are awake, perhaps painfully so. Their awareness is a gift, but it is also a cross to bear. This heightened awareness, this ability to perceive truth where others see only illusion, comes with a heavy cost. They move through a world that often prefers the comfort of lies to the discomfort of truth. And in such a world, those who choose to speak up, who dare to expose the shadows, quickly find themselves becoming targets. Not all darkness comes in the form of obvious evil. Some of it wears a smiling face and speaks in sweet, misleading tones. The chosen ones can see through this, But they also understand that confronting it head-on is not always wise. They have learned to pick their battles. They become observers, guardians of their own energy, carefully choosing when to speak and when to remain silent. Silence for them isn't passivity, it's strategy. It's wisdom. Because not everyone is ready for the truth, and sometimes the truth must wait for the right moment to be heard. Even with all their inner knowing, chosen ones are not immune to the weight of self-doubt. In fact, they are often plagued by it more than most. The journey they walk is not linear or easy. It comes with long nights of the soul, where the mind spirals into questions that shake the very foundation of who they are. Am I really meant for this? Is this path real or just a fantasy? These questions echo in their hearts during moments of struggle, especially when they feel most alone. They often exist on the fringes of society, misunderstood, mislabeled, or dismissed. Too intense, too sensitive, too different. These labels stick like thorns in their psyche, sometimes leading them to question whether they should hide their light just to blend in to make others more comfortable. This pressure to conform can be suffocating. The world has a way of trying to sand down the edges of those who don't fit into its mold. And when you've heard "you're too much" for the 100th time, it starts to chip away at your confidence. They may find themselves shrinking, hiding their true nature, playing small just to avoid conflict or rejection. But despite all of this, there is a voice deep within them, a quiet, unwavering whisper that always calls them back to themselves. It reminds them of their purpose, that they are not here to fit in. They are here to awaken, to guide, to shift the collective frequency in ways that may not be visible, but are deeply felt. No matter how much they waver, that whisper doesn't fade. It only grows louder in silence. Part of what makes their journey so complex is the magnitude of power they possess. Their intuition is razor sharp. They sense energy before it becomes form. They dream of things before they happen. They speak words that manifest into reality, sometimes without even realizing it. But this power doesn't come with a manual. And for many chosen ones, the fear of their own potential becomes another silent battle. They worry that their thoughts might influence others, that a word said in haste could shift someone's path. They fear hurting people unintentionally, disrupting energies they don't fully understand, or stepping into roles that feel far too big for them to carry. So they hold back. They dim their light, not because they don't know their power, but because they fear the responsibility that comes with it. They become the ones who hide in plain sight, powerful yet quiet, wise yet often underestimated. They may feel like ghosts moving through crowded rooms, picking up every undercurrent, every unspoken thought, every layer of falsehood, but keeping it all to themselves. They are often reluctant to fully step into the magnitude of their gifts, not out of arrogance, but out of humility. They want to be sure. They want to be worthy. And yet life keeps pulling them forward, sometimes dragging them if they resist too long. Because no matter how heavy the responsibility, their gifts are not meant to be buried. They are meant to serve something greater, something sacred. And in time, the fear gives way to courage, one small step at a time. One of the most sacred, yet isolating aspects of the chosen one's experience is their connection to the unseen. Some of them have dreams that speak of futures not yet written. Others hear messages in nature, in silence, in music, or in the way a stranger glances their way. They receive downloads of information, visions, gut instincts, spontaneous knowledge that proves true again and again. But this is not something they often speak about. Why? Because society is quick to judge what it cannot understand. They fear being labeled crazy, mystical, irrational. So they keep their revelations to themselves, only sharing them with those rare souls who truly get it, or acting on them quietly when the timing is right. Their inner world is vast and rich, but it often remains hidden beneath the surface of everyday life. And perhaps the most haunting feeling of all is the sense of difference they've carried since childhood. A persistent knowing that they are not like the others, though they couldn't explain why. It's not arrogance, it's just a feeling, a pull, a sense that they are here for something more. But that more is not always defined. The path isn't clearly marked. It unfolds in riddles, synchronicities, and sacred delays. This unknowing can be maddening. They may find themselves yearning for clarity, praying for signs, trying to decode what their soul already knows, but the mind hasn't yet caught up with. And still, they walk forward. Not because they are certain, but because they trust that the road will reveal itself with each step. This journey can be profoundly lonely. It can feel like shouting into the void or carrying a torch through endless darkness. But for those who resonate with these words, for those who feel seen in this reflection, know this: you are not alone. Your struggle is not a flaw. It is a sign of depth. Your sensitivity is not weakness. It is a superpower. Your questions are not a sign of being lost. They are proof that you are awakening. You are not broken. You are simply on a path that very few are brave enough to walk. In a world that often glorifies superficiality, your depth is revolutionary. In a time when distractions rule, your awareness is sacred. In a society that values conformity, your authenticity is radical. Protect your energy. Honor your path. Speak your truth when the time is right, and guard it fiercely when it is not. You are here to shift paradigms, to break ancestral patterns, to heal, to awaken, to remember. The universe sees you. Your guides walk beside you. And every time you choose to stay true to who you are, despite the fear, despite the doubt, despite the noise, you answer the call that has been echoing through your soul since before you were born. If this message stirred something within you, if it felt like someone put into words the feelings you've been carrying for years, know that this isn't just coincidence. It's alignment. It's confirmation. It's your soul recognizing itself in a mirror of truth. And if you've read this far, it means you are ready. Maybe not ready to take every step yet, but ready to remember who you truly are. If this resonated with you, type an 11 in the comments to affirm your divine alignment. And don't forget to subscribe for more insights designed for those walking the sacred path of higher consciousness. Until next time, stay grounded, stay awake, and above all, stay true to the journey that only your soul can walk. Thank you for being here. You are not alone.